It is time once again for the weekly closes on our favorite Bitcoin miners. And man, is it ever a big one this week. We're getting pretty close to the end of this thing. And I think that it's going to get a little wild here going forward. I'm sure most people saw the post I put yesterday giving a bit of a warning on Bitcoin there. And we'll do a whole video about that at another time here. But yeah, things are looking pretty frothy and in some cases pretty scary. So anyways, let's take a look at these weekly closes here. So we're going to start with CleanSpark as usual, starting with CleanSpark, and it is currently closing the week at was that 1952? So it closed at 1952 there. We got a bit of a doji, which is not great, not what I wanted to see, especially with it being a red doji. Now it did hold above the body here at 1925, but that is not a promising look here. We've got two really long wicks on top. Now, we've seen this before, kind of back here, we get really long wicks on top, and it kind of consolidated. So we might see some consolidation. If that's what we start to see, a consolidating price at this level, I wouldn't be surprised to see things kind of work on like they did back here in 2021, right, where you saw like that pull down, that double top, and then the dump. So watch for that potentially coming forward. We're going to watch carefully this 9 EMA, which is all the way down at $14. So that'd be a significant haircut if you just got in. So paying attention to that. It is above, it went above the 3X Bollinger Band, which is bad. So yeah, this is still launching, but it could come back and touch the 9. I wouldn't be surprised to see it come back to about 1647, but it did close over 18 this week, so that's pretty good. There was a lot of call options at 18. If those closed out above it, which it did, well then we could see that level go behind us and stay behind us going forward potentially. So we're watching for that as well. This is also we did get a week that was completely above this highest high here from November 2024. So that is also good for CleanSpark itself. All right, not too shabby. But again, there are some concerns, especially in the Bitcoin side of things right now. So I am cautiously optimistic. I have been working on protecting my capital and taking out my cost basis on a lot of things, or in some cases even small losses on things to avoid any potential like sharp downturns that were temporary. But it looks okay. The chart looks okay for CleanSpark at least. Let's look at some others here. And if you're in the warrants are also looking just fine here. You can see this candle completely above the previous high, completely above this previous range and back, leaving us open to move higher from here. Okay, so that's not so bad. All right, let's take a look at Mara. How is Mara doing? So Mara, that is disgusting. That is a disgusting candle. We closed under 1980. We got tweezers coming in. This looks like it wants to push down to the 9, which would be about 18 bucks. It looks like it wants to push down to the 9. I don't like that. It needs to hold $19. If it can't hold $19, yes, we will fall down to that 9 moving average, maybe even the 50 on the weekly. So Mara looks terrible. That's not good. Now, buying pressure has been coming in. You can see in the BX, it's coming in. The RSI is kind of going weekly up, and the stochastic is weekly pointing up. But those are two really long wicks on top, two ugly candles in a row. We are sitting on this support area that it's got to shove off from. If it can't shove off from it, well, then we're going to visit the bottom of the range again, which in this case would be around like that $17, $18 range on Mara. So that's not looking great. Let's take a look at HIVE. HIVE had a significant drop off Friday morning. It battled that and actually had a pretty good move upward from there. Again, this tried to come to the 9 weekly. It didn't quite make it. It might still make it. The 9 might catch up to it here, and we might meet it at like 470 or something. But HIVE is looking fairly constructive. I like that it closed above. You see, so let me bring the drawings. I like that it closed above the highs here. I like that. I don't like that it wicked into them though. Down there, it wicked into them. I do like that it closed above them, but I don't like that it wicked wicked into them. So we'll see. We're watching it. It's still on that upward trend. I'm still expecting some higher movement out of it. I did get out of my HIVE this week, and I may reload it, especially if we get a push above 660 and it holds. Well, then I'd be looking for a push to $10 from there. Okay. And on the way down, I'm looking at 470, potentially 377 as areas to buy on the dip, assuming Bitcoin has not rolled over for the cycle. That is a big Bitf right there. Bitfarms, that is a disgusting candle. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. I hate that. Now, yeah, the body, yeah, I just hate that. I hate that candle. The big wick on top, small body. I hate everything about that. The stochastic, look at the stochastic, pink on green. Yeah, that looks like we're gonna at least minimum make a bull flag, maybe come back down into the fours. The lower fours, come back into the lower fours potentially, and then reverse from there, maybe, but I do hate that candle. That is gross. All the moving averages are pointing in the right way. The 50 still needs to cross up on the 200, and often, oh, we've never done that before on Bitfarms. Often when you get that, that tends to mark that a top is real close. And I do think, again, the top is excessively close. We are in the middle of October here. The cycle is likely going to end within the next 60 days, right? We've got less than 60 days likely on this cycle. So it's going to come very soon. Every time I get a candle like this, I'm like, ooh, is that the top? Every single time. So be careful out there. Let's take a look at Iren. How's Iren doing? Iren also getting a bit of toppy candles here. We got some wicks on top. It's looking like it's getting like a lot of selling pressure there. Look at that volume. Look at that volume down there. That is wicked down here. This volume, you can see it right there. That's wicked. The RSI is up at 92.9. The stochastics. Look at the stochastics. Oh, come on. The stochastics. Why are you doing this? Why not? Oh, why isn't it going full screen? Jeez. The stochastics are showing purple on pink, meaning it likely wants to push down lower like it did back here, which might just be, a slump to the 9 on the weekly. But yeah, Iren's looking crazy frothy, like it's ready to maybe finally revisit that 9 on the weekly, which would be all the way down at 43, which would be a significant haircut if it were to happen. Let's take a look at HUT. Same sort of thing. We got lots and lots of buying pressure, but we got an ugly candle, another doji. If we close anywhere underneath 41.28, I would be looking for a drop down into the 27, maybe even as low as 21. So we're watching that carefully as well. If it pushes up, it keeps pushing up, right? If it comes down, well, it's going to come down to these these volumes lower down. Let's take a look at CAN. I did take some profits on CAN. I took my cost basis out plus a little profit. I left a little bit. I left the majority of it to go on CAN. But yeah, it tried to come up to the 200 weekly, failed. It might try it one more time. It might give it one more go. If it cannot do it, it is going to fall back down probably to about 132. If we lose that, 98 cents. That would really suck. So we're going to hope that doesn't occur. Let's see here. Do we have... No, just we had the 50 before. So yeah, it's got to get over the 200 there. If it can get over the 200, yeah, it can push, and it can push all the way up into like the 5s and 6s on CAN, maybe even higher, especially if you can get over 6. It can really push into 8 or 9. But that 200 is going to be formidable right now. And you see last time we tried to push, we got within a few percentage points of the 200 and then just collapsed. So this is looking a little toppy, which is why I took my cost basis out, and I took a little bit of profit off the top on my CAN, and the rest I'm going to let ride for now. Soluna, though, on the other hand, showing strength. It is just pushing and push, a flag, push. We might see a 2-week flag, maybe a 3-week flag here, and then push. Soluna is running on a different game here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Soluna just continue to push. I didn't sell any of my Soluna. I held on to my Soluna. I'm looking at 8-10 plus on Soluna. That would be pretty amazing. I'd be very happy with that if that were to happen. All the technicals on Soluna are pointing straight up, aside from that Bollinger Band, which it could push into for a couple more weeks, to be honest. Let's take a look at Btdr. How's Btdr doing? Btdr is, again, it's pushing real hard. It doesn't look as bad as a lot of other candles, but the fact that it's got a nice tall wick on there shows me that it probably wants to go sideways a little bit. Other than that, yeah, like the stochastic is kind of giving it away. If we look at the stochastic, I don't know why that doesn't work on the touchscreen when I do it, but when I do it on the trackpad, it works just fine. The stochastic is giving it away a little bit with being pink. If that turns yellow, then I'd be a little less concerned, because that means that the momentum is in the proper direction again. But being pink means I could potentially see it come back down to like 21, maybe as low as 20. And if we lose that, 16.63. And then to the upside, I mean, I'd be watching this high up here at 26.99 for it to be pushed down from there. And if it can get above that, well, then it's clear skies from there. And we'll see what price discovery decides for it. We'd have to look at, we'd have to run a fib, which would be from down here. Oh, I probably already have a fib run on it. Let me go. No, I don't. Surprisingly, I don't have a fib. We'd have to run a fib from the low of the previous run to this high over here. And we'd be looking at 34, 39, and 61 to the frothy side of things for that one. Let's take a look at Riot. Riot is, that's a nasty candle. That's a nasty candle, minus 4% on the week. That looks very toppy. The candle before looks pretty toppy, and then a doji followed after that closed beneath it. Yeah, Riot looks like it wants to touch that 9. It at least wants to touch that 9, maybe come back down to that volume spike down to 14, which would align with the global liquidity flush that we're currently looking at. The global liquidity is going to be interesting. If we go to the daily, and I've shown you this over and over and over and over again, but global liquidity wants to do that flush. This one's on a weird, but we're in this area right over here where it's doing that flush. Right? That's where we're at right now. We're on the flush. So yeah. And it will likely recover because later on in the year it shows global liquidity going back up, but we may see some significant volatility before then. We're still above all of this. So the resistance over here on Riot, so yes, it could bounce where it is, but it does look like it wants to touch the 9. A lot of these look like they want to come back to the 9. Cifr is doji at the top. It could keep doing that though. Like, I mean, it could keep doji, doji top, doji up the top. As long as we're getting volume above the average and it's driving higher, yeah, I'm not too concerned. But once it finally loses that, I'm looking at the 9 moving average as an area for it to come back to. And if it can't hold that, well, then it's over, game over on all of them, basically. See about Core Z, still kind of not doing a whole lot. It got a little bit higher. This is a nasty doji on the top here, just at the, like, we finally breached the high, right? And we get this wicked doji. I wouldn't be surprised again. Come back to the 9, reassess things, do a little bit of sideways action, and then continue on in November. That's kind of what I'm looking for here. Wulf, we got another, again, a doji near the top of the range. All these, I don't like them. They're very toppy candles. CANG has just been consolidating here. It never got its moment in the sun, at least not yet. We're looking for the signs that these things are either going to launch or give up. And Bitcoin has been showing it is sitting right on that level of support, right where it absolutely needs to make a move, or that's it. So yeah, that is what we're dealing with this week. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio. Don't forget about the channel memberships, especially that stalagmite level. And if we get the subscribers up to 10,000, I'll open up those posts to all paid tiers. We're currently at 9,100, a little over 9,100. So keep bringing in those subs. We'll get that up to 10,000. I'll open up those posts to all paid tiers. And with that said, have a profitable day.